Today our topic is existentialism versus stoicism. What's the best philosophy? Let's dive into these two ways of thinking and see how they can help us live better lives. Both philosophies are about understanding life, but they approach it in different ways. Existentialism focuses on freedom, choice, and creating meaning in a world that doesn't have any built-in purpose. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us to accept what we cannot control and find peace by focusing on our own thoughts and actions. Both have valuable lessons, but which one is better? Well, it depends on what you need in your life right now. Let's explore both and see how they can inspire and motivate us. Existentialism is a philosophy that says life has no inherent meaning. This might sound scary at first, but it's also liberating. If life has no built-in purpose, it means we are free to create our own. This freedom is both a gift and a responsibility. Think about it. If nothing matters by default, then what matters is what we decide matters. This can be empowering because it means we have the power to shape our lives and give them meaning. But it can also feel overwhelming, because the weight of that choice is entirely on us. Existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus talked a lot about this idea. Sartre said, "We are condemned to be free, meaning we have no choice but to choose." Camus, on the other hand, focused on the absurd idea that we search for meaning in a world that doesn't provide any. He said we must imagine Sisyphus, a figure from Greek mythology, who was doomed to push a boulder up a hill forever, as happy. Why? Because even in a meaningless task, we can find joy and purpose by embracing the struggle. Now let's talk about Stoicism. This philosophy is all about control, or rather, understanding what we can and cannot control. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, believed that the key to a good life is focusing on what's within our power and letting go of what's not. They taught that we can't control external events, but we can control how we respond to them. This idea is incredibly practical. For example, if it rains on the day of your picnic, you can't stop the rain, but you can choose to enjoy the sound of it or reschedule the picnic for another day. Stoicism teaches us to accept reality as it is and find peace in the present moment. It's not about suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about recognizing that our emotions come from our thoughts, and we have the power to change those thoughts. By practicing Stoicism, we can build resilience and face life's challenges with calm and clarity. So, which philosophy is better? It depends on what you're looking for. If you feel lost or overwhelmed by the idea of finding meaning in life, existentialism might speak to you. It reminds us that we are the authors of our own lives. We get to decide what matters and what doesn't. This can be incredibly motivating because it puts the power in our hands. On the other hand, if you're struggling with stress, anxiety, or things that feel out of your control, Stoicism might be more helpful. It gives us tools to deal with life's uncertainties and find peace even in difficult situations. The truth is, you don't have to choose one over the other. You can take what works from both and create your own philosophy of life. Let's look at some practical advice from both philosophies. From existentialism, we can learn to embrace our freedom and take responsibility for our choices. This means not blaming others or circumstances for where we are in life. It means asking ourselves tough questions like, what do I really want? And what kind of person do I want to be? These questions can be uncomfortable, but they're necessary if we want to live authentically. Existentialism also teaches us to face the absurd idea that life might not make sense and still find joy in it. This can be incredibly liberating because it frees us from the pressure to have everything figured out. Sometimes, just being alive and experiencing the world is enough. From Stoicism, we can learn to focus on what's within our control and let go of what's not. This doesn't mean we stop caring about things. It means we stop wasting energy on things we can't change. For example, if you're worried about what other people think of you, Stoicism would remind you that their opinions are out of your control. What you can control is how you act and how you treat others. By focusing on your own actions, you can live with integrity and peace of mind. Stoicism also teaches us to practice gratitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote about this a lot. He said we should remind ourselves every day of the things we take for granted, like our health, our loved ones, and even the simple fact that we're alive. This practice can shift our perspective and help us appreciate what we have instead of always wanting more. Both philosophies also have something to say about death. Existentialism reminds us that life is finite, and this awareness can motivate us to live fully. When we realize that our time is limited, we're more likely to prioritize what truly matters to us. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us to accept death as a natural part of life. The Stoics believed that by contemplating our mortality, we can live with more courage and less fear. They saw death not as something to dread, but as something that gives life its value. After all, if we lived forever, would we appreciate the moments we have now? In the end, both existentialism and Stoicism offer valuable insights into how to live a good life. Existentialism challenges us to create our own meaning and take responsibility for our choices. It's a philosophy of freedom and creativity. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us to accept what we cannot change and focus on what we can control. It's a philosophy of resilience and peace. The best philosophy for you depends on where you are in life and what you need right now. Maybe you need the courage to make a big change, in which case existentialism might inspire you. Or maybe you need to find calm in the midst of chaos, and Stoicism can help with that. The good news is, you don't have to choose just one. You can take the best of both and create a philosophy that works for you. Life is complex, and no single philosophy has all the answers. But by exploring different ways of thinking, we can find tools and ideas that help us navigate the challenges we face. Whether it's the freedom of existentialism or the peace of Stoicism, both philosophies remind us that we have the power to shape our own lives. They encourage us to live intentionally, to face our fears, and to find meaning and joy in the present moment. So, instead of asking which philosophy is best, maybe the better question is, how can I use these ideas to live a life that feels true to me? That's a question worth thinking about, and the answer is yours to create.